We need to bring the West Bank into that forward process.
Thank you. I just want to expand on the settlement trade question. So as the Chair said, the committee did suggest a comprehensive ban on imports from illegal settlements. And I think the response from the department was that guidance equips individuals and businesses to make their own informed choices regarding such activities. What evidence do we have that the guidance is being followed?
So you're right that that's both the Department for Business and Trade and HMRC have recently updated their list of the non-eligible locations so that the goods in the specified locations then can't benefit from the preferential tariff treatment, and also have introduced a new document code for that. If there are any doubts about goods that have been declared as being of Israeli origin, then HMRC can undertake checks, and I'm advised will undertake checks to verify the origin of those goods to ensure fiscal compliance. I am happy to write to the committee with further detail if you would like, in terms of the work that the HMRC does on that.
Thank you, Foreign Secretary. Just a follow-on from that point. Are there any interventions that are taking place to prevent UK-based business or charities from actually investing in settlements? So companies that are here or charities that are in the UK in investing in expansion of settlements in the West Bank?
Well, clearly we see those as illegal settlements as well, so it is important that that is recognised.
Should not be investing in settlements.
So obviously some of these issues are DBT issues as well, so I'm very happy to provide you with further written information on that.
Okay.
Right.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you, Foreign Secretary. I wanted to come back to the Board of Peace. Several members of the committee were in Doha for the Doha Forum a few days ago. When we were talking to Qatari ministers, they were saying the Arab position really is the current setup of the Board of Peace is unacceptable for them. And we've been lots of information in the press recently about Tony Blair no longer being in position. So I wanted to ask, what is going to be the UK's role in that Board of Peace? How have we been involved in setting it up? Are we going to hear any more about Tony Blair being involved? Will FCDBO be involved if that's not the case?
So when President Trump first published his 20-point plan, he had obviously put forward Tony Blair as part of those discussions. So that was his nomination rather than a UK or different countries being involved at that point. The discussions in terms of the composition of the Board of Peace are still underway, so there isn't a conclusion to those yet. We'd understood at one point there was a suggestion that that might happen actually sometime between now and Christmas, some other suggestions that that might happen now in January. I would say my personal view is that we need to move forward as rapidly as possible, but the Board of Peace should happen alongside the Palestinian Committee, because it's crucial that the Palestinian Committee is able to actually run things in the practicalities of services in Gaza. It's this principle that Palestine should be run by Palestinians. That is hugely important. What the Board of Peace does then is provide the overseeing of the peace process more widely. So we, I think those details, we still wait for those to be finalised, and also which countries will be involved in the Board of Peace as well. There's obviously further crucial things that need to be taken forward around the ISF, the decommissioning. But again, I would say, I think underpinning all of this has to be the huge expansion of humanitarian aid, and we can get on with that right now.
Absolutely. And going back to the ISF, which you mentioned, UK has sent some personnel, I think, to work alongside the Israelis and the Americans at the Civil Military Coordination Centre. And we've also had lots of proposals from countries like Turkey, Pakistan and Indonesia, I think, to provide troops. Why is it taking so long for the ISF framework to be established? And what is the UK's role in the CMMC, and what do you envisage our role to be in any future ISF?
So we have supplied people to the CMCC, both military and civil, members in order to help with that. But that is predominantly a sort of operational coordinating work that it is doing. I think the ISF is a very different role, and we would not expect and don't intend for UK troops to be part of the ISF, although we of course always stand ready to provide planning support or training support or those kinds of issues as well. I think the US is leading discussions with potentially troop contributing countries on that, and I think really some of the issues for those countries will end up being around the mandates and the details of that, and in practice how it could work. The thing that we have also put forward some proposals on as well is around the decommissioning process, which we have suggested could learn from the decommissioning process in Northern Ireland as well. That was done very much independently, so would be a sort of independent process from the ISF. But look, all of those things, as we know, these are complicated issues, so all of these issues are still being looked at and still to be resolved.
Thank you. One final question. As we are embedded in the CMMC, and you said the humanitarian situation leaves a lot to be desired. I mean, the number of people that have died due to the flooding, the huge restriction in tents, the small numbers of additional trucks the UN is being allowed to deliver through, and Rafah crossing is still closed, of course. What influence do we have? What more can we do to ensure that gets in? And do we need to be thinking about further measures against the Israelis in order to encourage them to open these options up?
Well, the aid going into Gaza has increased since the ceasefire. My view is that it's still a long way short of where we need to get to. And that's partly why I went to Jordan to see the warehouses, and just one of the World Food Programme warehouses that I went to, which had UK aid as part of it. There was enough wheat there to feed 700,000 people for a month, and yet it was stuck in Jordan and had been there for some of it for 8 months because the Jordanian route into Gaza was still closed. There have been some further discussions, and we are continuing to raise this at every opportunity about potentially opening the Jordanian route, but we're not there yet, and I just think we need to urgently get the Jordanian route opened. We've also been putting the pressure on. We've managed to get the 2,500 tents that we've managed to get in. Again, those have been waiting for very many months. That's enough tents to help shelter 12,000 people, so it is really important, but it's still not on the scale that the UN is saying is needed. And so whilst the number of trucks has gone up, we still need to go much further. So my argument with this is obviously we need the Israeli government to lift restrictions, but my argument is also that this should be part of the push forward with the Board of Peace and with the Palestinian Committee to also get a surge in aid, because I just think it's crucial, especially as winter is drawing in.
Mm-hmm. And sorry, so you said in your earlier answer humanitarian aid could be delivered now and should be delivered urgently, and now you're saying it should be part of the next phase.
I just think at every stage, everything should happen now. Yeah. So we're calling for it to happen now, but also in addition, as part of the establishment of the Board of Peace and the Palestinian Committee, that is a further opportunity to further increase and have new arrangements in place to make sure we can get aid as rapidly as possible to those who need it.
Can I ask you though, because many of the charities have been in touch with us about this, and that